Well, hello, everybody. So glad that you could join us today for the monthly chat with the grad dean. I'm so excited to be here with my colleagues today. I expect any moment that doggone siren is going to go off campus wide to remind everybody of the emergency alert system. There it is, which is also another alarm that you need to come and spend time with the grad dean and chat with the grad dean. So I'm glad that all of you are here today. We have Dr. Mark Thouin, who is our Associate Dean for Graduate Programs here with us today. We have our Assistant Director for Advising with us today as well, Angela Howard. And then, of course, behind the scenes running all the levers is Norma Rodriguez, who is our Senior Academic Project Manager. And for those of you that have attended before, you know well that Dr. Powell, AKA Monica, is going to have some philosophical thoughts for the crowd today. So I really want to talk to you about a subject that I think is a bit old-fashioned, but appropriate for students today, and especially appropriate for today's students where things are changing so dramatically. You know, in spring of 2023, I was attending a conference. And at that conference, one of the presenters was from the University of Texas at Austin. And they were talking about the new fangled chat GPT that had just come out. And I mean, it hadn't been out more than a couple of months. And the impact it was having on their students and their faculty and the potential impact it would have. Well, when I think about what's transformed since that January day, there has been all kinds of introductions of new generative AI that are just dramatically changing everything that we do, changing how industry is doing things. And I think at a time where, we're still maybe on some level recovering from the pandemic, it is a time where we put so much thought into, our wellness and getting back on track and being mentally healthy and being really kind to our vehicle. There's this tendency for us to maybe take our foot off the accelerator a little bit and maybe spend a little bit more time introspectively in the caretaking of ourselves, that we aren't thinking about the impact of taking your foot off of the accelerator. When I graduated from college in 1982, at that particular time was a horrible economy, and we didn't have the internet. We didn't have, Indeed.com. We got news jobs out of classified ads in the newspaper. We didn't have a place where we could go and look up jobs. So what did we do? We went to a local printer because we didn't have a color copier. We went to a local printer and we got 100 copies of our resume, and we went out, we put our foot on the accelerator and we pounded the pavement, and we found jobs by knocking on doors. It was the craziest way, but it was totally on us. Couldn't just sit back in our apartment in our pajamas and apply for jobs. We had to get out there and be, pedal to the metal to be able to launch our careers. And now, all these years later, I mean, 40 years later, 42 years later to be exact, um, you guys live in a different world. Everything is fast, everything is expedient, everything is rapid, everything is coming at you like a battering ram gun. And you're processing vast amounts of information. You're using all these tools to analyze data. You're going to a zillion websites. You're building algorithms that'll hand deliver you the jobs that you should apply for. And so there's a tendency, when things are changing so fast and so rapidly, there's a tendency to want to say, okay, slow down. Let's slow down. Let's take our foot off the accelerator and let's take really good care of ourselves. And we can speed up when we need to speed up. Well, your senior associate dean and grad dean is going to give you slightly different advice today. I think now is the time. Now is the time that our students should have their foot on the pedal, the accelerator, and have the accelerator on the floorboard. because we are living in a time where the people that can act the fastest, think the fastest, use the tools the best and the fastest, who can come to solutions the fastest, who are young and full of energy. The most energy you're going to have in your life, you're going to have in your 20s and in your 30s. Those are the two most important decades in terms of setting the trajectory of your career. So I'm going to challenge all of you. While it's important to take care of the vehicle, the car, you, and it's important that you care about your well-being and your mental health, and you make sure that you're in a good frame of mind. This is not the time, even though we've been through the pandemic and we've survived it, we are in a time of rapid acceleration of invention and technology. I promise you, the students that show up, the students that are there to be party to conversation, the students that get ahead of others in keeping up with training and lifelong learning, the students who go out there and are eager to raise their hand to the employer and say, I'll take that project, and not say, I'll take that project, but can you give me a promotion and increase my pay? The ones that will say, I'll take the project and go after it, even though they may not have all of the answers about how they're going to approach it. You are the folks that are going to be the consummate leaders in your 40s. You are the folks that are going to benefit from having left your foot on the accelerator in the decade when you've had the greatest amount of forward momentum. And you are going to be the ones that are going to come back as alumni and tell other students why it matters not to use this great place where you are, these idealistic 20s where everything is possible for you. You got to remember, you're young, you have energy, your skills, the things you're learning in the classroom right now, you are going to be the most up to date that you will ever be. Because all of the new skills that you will learn, you'll learn them from your younger colleagues that are coming in from school that learned with the new tools. Now is the time to invest. And when you graduate, it'll be the time to really work hard. So you think you may have worked hard now? Those folks that will get opportunity, those folks that will lead, those folks who will come back and hire, those people who will invent the new tools that will take us into the next decades are going to be those students who get out and don't take their foot off the accelerator. So I know that's not a popular position to have. And I know that there are students out there that think, oh, I'm young. I want to go explore the world. I want to take 3 gap years. I want to retire at 44. I mean, folks, life is not that simple. And what you are going to do in the next 10 years when you graduate are going to have the greatest impact on the trajectory of what happens to you. I lived in that generation where we didn't know any different, where all we knew was to put our foot on the accelerator and put the accelerator to the floorboard. So I haven't known anything different, but I know your generation thinks maybe about things differently, and I appreciate that. But mark my words, those of you that will advance and really create opportunity for yourselves are those that aren't going to back away from opportunity or the fear of driving fast. When you're driving fast, it's a little bit scary, but you're going to be in charge. So that is my philosophical thoughts for today, and I hope that you'll think about it. I hope that you'll contemplate at what speed do you want to drive your career. Some of you are about to graduate, some of you are in the middle of the program, but wherever you are, you will not get this moment back. You will not get your 20s and 30s decade back. So use all the assets that you have now and make the impossible happen, because I believe it can. And I think, Mark, do you agree or do you disagree? You're not in my same generation, but what do you think?
Absolutely. I agree, Monica. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for asking the question as well. So you tend to get out what you put in. So if you put more in, you're going to realize more in terms of just kind of your personal benefits, your professional benefits to whatever it is you pursue. So doing things halfway, doing the minimum amount of work is really not the best way to go about things. And so yes, commit, give it your all, try your best, and you will be rewarded in a variety of ways. And I did want to touch on something else that I think is really exciting about what's going on right now, and you mentioned it earlier, is generative AI, right? So it's everywhere. Every day I read a story about it. I try and use the tools around Gen AI every day as well. And I think that's important for you and for all of us, as we move forward, because this technology is going to be transformative in terms of how we do our jobs and what we do in order to do our jobs. And so, Bing Chat is free for everybody, and you can go to it, and it's powered by Chat GPT, and you can use it to help search or to help answer questions you may have. And if you're not doing that yet, you should be doing that, because that's the future. That's the way people will do their jobs moving forward. ChatGPT, same idea, right? It's a tool that can be used to help make you more efficient and more productive in what you do. Recently here at UTD, they rolled out Microsoft Copilot, and I've been using it, trying to use it every day, and it's been a bit of a journey, right? Sometimes it's great and it helps me out. Other times it takes me longer to do something than I would have liked, right? Or if I would have not used it at all. But again, it's the effort you put in, right? This at this point in time, at this moment in time, putting in the effort is ultimately going to help me and help, right? If you put in the effort as well, help you work towards your goals and accomplish what you want to. So those are a few thoughts I have on a couple of different topics, but yeah, thank you for asking, Monica. I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. My dad was very philosophical guy and very he always spoke in analogy terms, but he was always saying, Monica, you got to drive with purpose, and you have to know where you're going, and you have to know when you're lost, and you have to know who to ask help from. You got to take care of yourself along the way as you're getting to wherever it is you're going. Um, but he also said something else that I think was really important, is that you got to stop along the journey and enjoy a few of the detours. There will be detours in your career, and you will learn something monumental on every one of those detours. So, but it's all about will. I mean, it's all about drive. It's all about, are you willing to give a little bit more, even though the little bit more is a little bit harder? But I can tell you in my own career, and Mark, I'm betting it's the same with you. It never fails to pay dividends. So get after it. Now I know when we're talking about paying dividends, we're looking at what, a month from today, finals start, and there are things that students need to be thinking about and doing right now as students. So I'm going to turn over to Angela for a minute, because I think you've got probably some really important reminders where students shouldn't take their foot off of that gas pedal either.
Thank you, Dr. Powell. Yes. So as you said, the semester is coming to a rapid finish. So yeah, your foot is probably very much on that pedal at this point. So the last day of classes will be May 3rd. We are exactly a month away. So at this time, it's really important that you, if you're not doing well, you hopefully have already talked to your professors and advising and your program directors. But if you have not done that yet, please reach out to us. This is a very crucial time when it comes to doing well at the end of the semester. If you're on probation, this is also a really crucial time that hopefully you reached out already, but if not, come see us in your program to talk about how you're doing and what you think next semester or the semester after will look like. And then the finals will be the 6th through the 10th of May. So we really want to make sure that you're doing all that you can before that. So if you need to talk about study groups or anything like that, please reach out to us in your program. And I like the idea of the drive with purpose, Dean Powell, because that's essentially kind of what registration is. It is a time where we are really pushing and going fast, but you have to do it with purpose. So while we're doing registration for summer and for fall, reach out to advising if you need a degree audit or a degree plan. We've just finished up our, we call them our halfway point degree plan. So you're going to start seeing them in your e-learning soon. So you'll start seeing a degree plan if you just started, or if you're continuing, you'll have an updated degree plan this month that you can look at so that you are making sure that you're taking the right courses. And then it's also about talking to your program directors or program staff. Sometimes your program directors are faculty, like Dr. Thouin. He's still teaching out there, guys, so he may not be available. But there are other people. Donna Nix for ITM is there to talk to you if you need anyone. So reach out to program staff as well when it comes to looking at classes that you're interested in, because you only have 12 classes. So you have to make sure that you're focused on what you really want to take, and you're not just taking fluff classes that you don't really know if you want to take them, but they're there because your friends are taking them or someone tells you this might be a good idea. You have to make sure that you are purposefully taking courses that are going to benefit you in the future. So make sure you reach out to your program to make sure that you're focused in the right direction. And then the main dates when it comes to the summer and the fall will be the last day of registration, May 23rd for summer, and all the way in August 15th for fall. So it seems far off, but it's going to come faster than you realize. So just make sure that you are driving with purpose when it comes to your registration.
Yeah, and Angela, I would say don't register recklessly.
Yes.
Not
Correct.
a good idea. With a month left of classes, that is still a considerable amount of time to have an impact on a final grade. So if you are a student who is struggling, you still have an opportunity to make a C grade, maybe a B grade, or a B grade, maybe a B plus grade, or an A minus grade, maybe an A. And I think that sometimes it's really when the drive gets difficult, you want to throw in the towel and say, well, I'm going to accept what what I think the end result is now. Don't. There are still so many opportunities for you to transform outcomes. So really get into this last part of the semester because it can have an impact on your overall grade. So don't be shy or think that you can't make change at this particular point. Now, I am betting from our attendees that we have some questions today, Norma, so fire away.
So we do. The first one has to do with advice you just gave about don't register recklessly. Could you expand a little bit more on what you mean by that?
So, I think students, and Angela said it really well, you register recklessly when you follow the crowd, when you just try to get into the classes that your friends are getting into because you think, okay, well, if I'm in these classes with my friends, then I'm going to perform better. But if that class does not really follow what your career goal is in terms of the job you want to land, then you're going to be in a class that you may not be as interested in. You may not as be an effective contributor to your classmates, and you are not going to feel happy about making that investment of tuition and time. So, I've told students from the very beginning, when you are a brand new student, you should always begin with the end in mind. Always think about that internship you want. Always think about that position that you desire. Think about and look at job descriptions and figure out what are the skills that are required for that job, and register for those classes that help you acquire those skills and that knowledge so that you can be a competitive candidate for that internship or final placement job. So, don't just follow the crowd. Sometimes it's easy to do that. And you're trusting in others, trust in yourself, trust in your program directors, trust in your program support staff. They're going to not lead you astray in terms of helping you pick the classes that really help you with your future.
Our next question has to do with something that Angela mentioned earlier. She mentioned the degree plan and how they're updating it, and they should be able to see that soon. One of our attendees is wondering, how do I get access to my degree audit / degree plan? I'll bring Angela to the screen for that one.
Yeah, I can answer that one. So when we send you an email in the coming week, you will have access to your degree audit through e-learning, and we'll send you all the instructions. You'll just go into your degree audit through e-learning under organizations. But in general, if you just want to ask for a degree plan on during times where we're not doing it, you can just email us. We can update it, and we will add it back into e-learning every time we update it. So you just have to ask, and we will send you something so that you can review it. JSOM GR advising.
I'll go ahead and put that as an announcement so everybody has that email address. But while I have Angela on screen, I have another question. There are some students that have a hold and it won't let them enroll. How do we get that removed, or how do they deal with that?
Yes, so the holds that you have may come from different offices. If it's more of an academic hold, you can reach out to JSOM advising. We can see what that hold may be and why you have it. Some of them may be for registration purposes due to probation or something like that academically. The other type of hold may be from the bursar or from admissions. If you're missing any documents, admissions has placed holds. I believe they placed holds on people's accounts in late February if you did not submit all of your documents. So you will have to reach out to admissions for that. Their email is admission@utdallas.edu. You can also give them a call if you want, but they would probably want to have something in person or in writing, excuse me. And the other would be the bursar, as I said before. It could be some type of payment hold. I would reach out to the bursar@utdallas.edu as well to see if there's any way that either of those offices can push your hold back to allow for enrollment. We don't have access at JSOM for those holds, but those particular offices can do that. And you can find the office in your task area in your Orion Student Center. So if you click tasks, you'll see all the different holds that you have, if you have them.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and bring Dr. Powell back to the screen. This next question, this person is asking, can I take up to 6 hours of any class in JSOM that isn't fully related to my degree plan / is not in his catalog or their catalog?
So if you've got room in your degree plan for free electives, which is probably not the case, it really depends upon you. And it depends upon what you are enrolled in. What is your degree plan? What is your concentration? Now, I will tell you, there are students who take extra classes, believe it or not, who will pay for extra classes that don't relate to your degree plan. But you want to make absolutely sure you understand what is required in your degree plan as far as core is concerned. And, is there minor core that you need to take? And what are the courses you need for a particular concentration if you decided to go that way? So if I were you, I would sit down with your program director and make sure that your program director can advise you on whether or not you have room to take those 6 courses or whether you shouldn't take those 6 courses because of other limitations. Angela, what do you think?
I agree. It really does depend on what's available in your degree plan and if your program is going to allow you to take anything towards the degree. They may say absolutely not. This is a non-JSOM class. The catalog says you must have JSOM coursework. You can take it for your own enrichment outside of your degree plan, which some students have done. 1 or 2 courses, they may do that. The other thing that you could try to do is do a course audit. And that is a way that you can take a course where it does not count towards your degree. You do not get any credit for it, but you are able to attend the course. And you would work with the Office of the Registrar to do that. You can look into that. We can at least guide you and advising to how to get to that part of the website, and you can talk to your program and talk to the registrar about doing a course audit, because you can at least get the information. You can sit in the course, you get to learn something, but it does not affect your GPA or your degree at all.
So I'll also just add something in here as well. So it's you should definitely check with your program director. So every degree is unique. Every degree is special. I know for ITM and analytics, for example, business analytics, it is possible to take up to 6 credit hours of free electives, and the free electives can be any course within JSOM. For analytics and ITM students, there's also a possibility to take courses from computer science and engineering. There are some additional considerations about how to do that and getting approval to do that. And your program director is going to know the answers to those questions and how to answer those questions for you. And other degrees, that flexibility really isn't there unless you want to take something extra, or you want to take an extra class along the way. So anyway, yeah, that's a little bit of extra thought there. Yeah.
There's one other thing I just want to throw in there, and it's not something that I would necessarily encourage a student to ever do. But, let's say that there are a couple of courses that you just really want the knowledge for. When you're done with your degree, you could always audit those courses, pay an audit fee just to sit in the class. If the instructor has room and there's actually a seat for you to sit in the class and be able to pick up a skill that you want to do. We've had numerous alums that have graduated and then signed up to audit a class because they wanted the knowledge. Now, when you audit a class, you pay a little tiny fee. You don't get to participate in the class, and you don't get to take any of the exams in the class. You are just literally sitting there to gain knowledge. So that's an option for later as well.
So our next couple questions have to do with internships. The first one is, if I take my internship as a 3-hour credit, does it count as a free elective on my degree plan?
Oh, Mark, you want to take that one? That one's kind of a difficult question, or can be.
It can, right? So I think part of this is going to depend on the degree you're in, and you should always check to make sure what your degree plan is and what it states. I know for ITM and for business analytics, for example, right, the internship very much counts as credit towards your degree, as elective credit towards your degree, right? So it's not just a free elective, but it's actually elective credit. And as a rule of thumb, if you're an international student with an F1 visa, right, you should only take a 3 credit hour internship if it's your graduating semester, and you plan to never work on an internship again, because once you use up your 3 credits of internship, you're no longer eligible for an internship. If you're a domestic student and you're completing an internship project with your current employer, right, then yeah, 3 credits can be okay. It's a different situation, a different scenario. But again, part of the answer depends on what degree you're in and the specifics of your degree program.
Yeah, many of our students will take, one thing that you should consider is the internship a required course in your degree plan? So that's the first question you need to ask. Secondly, if it is required, oftentimes students will want to take multiple internships. So they'll do the first one for 1 credit, the second one for 1 credit, and the third one for 1 credit. That way they can expand the possibilities of perhaps landing an OPT experience if they are an international student. So you want to be really thoughtful about it. But Mark, you nailed it when you said the only time that you really should take 3 credits for an internship is if it is your graduating semester. It really is frustrating when I see a student take their first internship for 3 credits and then they come back begging, let me take another internship and you're like, oh, you can only take up to 3 credit hours of internship. So, just keep that in mind.
Okay, this next question is somewhat specific, so I'm not sure if we can answer it here, but I'm going to ask anyway. This person is in Mark's program, MS-ITM. They are left with 6 credits for next semester to complete their degree. They have a few doubts about the reduced course load. They've attended a couple of interviews and they're hoping for a good result. So if they get an internship, can they apply for a reduced course load with 0 credit in the fall and complete their remaining 6 credits in the spring? Is it possible that way, or is it mandatory to take all the credits in the fall semester?
Norma, you did a great job of asking that question, and I'm going to give Mark the pleasure of answering it because that is a very complicated question.
Yeah, and the short answer is yes, right? Reduced course load is all about letting you focus on your internship, right? So every long semester, if you're an international student under, studying under an F1 student visa, there are enrollment requirements, and typically the enrollment requirements are such that you have to take at least 9 credits. There are exceptions to this rule, to this policy, and one of the exceptions is when you have an internship. And if your internship is 21 hours or more and it lasts for at least 11 weeks, so 11 weeks or more over the course of a semester, then that internship would qualify you for reduced course load. And with reduced course load, you are not required to take any classes except for your internship class, which can be a 0 credit internship class. So what you described, your scenario, right? Yes, you could take a 0 credit internship in your fall semester and complete the remaining 6 credits of your degree in spring.
While we're talking about internship, somebody who's attending this webinar is asking if we could tell them more about 1 credit or 3 credit internships. They're not quite sure what that means or what the advantage is to doing a 1 credit versus 3 credit.
Yeah, I guess I'll take that one too. I'll continue talking about it. So again, part of this depends on whether or not you are an international student or domestic student. And for international students, if you have the option, it's going to depend on your degree program, right? But if you have the option to take your internship as a 0 credit internship, that's the best option for your first internship, almost always. So in order to be eligible for a 0 credit internship, your degree program has to require an internship as part of its degree program. So if your degree program requires an internship, then you will have a 0 credit internship option, and that's going to be the best choice for you in your first internship. Monica talked about earlier how many of our students continue their internship for more than 1 semester. And so you want to be very thoughtful about how you plan out your internship experiences over the course of your academic career. So, first semester, 0 credit if it's there. Second semester, you should talk to your program director, get some advice, and think about your future plans for what you want to do. The number of credit hours also for your internship is tied to a set of deliverables in the class. So there are a set of assignments that you're required to complete based on the number of credit hours you register for. And those credit hours count towards your degree and your degree requirements. So if you're in a 36 credit hour degree program, right, and you take a 1 credit hour internship, that 1 credit hour counts towards one of the 36 credit hours required for the degree. And a 2 credit hour internship, you're going to have slightly more to do in terms of assignments. 3 credit hours, again, slightly more as well. And a lot of this, I think all of this is on our website. The CMC website has a wonderful page. So jindal.utdallas.edu/CMC. And there's a link for about internships, and it goes into a lot of detail. It's all in writing. So if you want to review it, take a look at it. It's very, very helpful.
Thank you so much, Dr. Thouin. I'm going to bring Dean Powell back to the screen for what looks like our last question. This person is an international student. They are, sorry, the question popped off my screen. I apologize. They have 6 credits left for their next semester. They're taking a digital consulting project, which is an offline course, and they're wondering if they can take the other subject online. So basically, they're wondering if they can take 2 online classes out of 2 as an international student.
So I'm going to pop that over to Angela. There are very strict limitations on online instruction and whether the course spans the entire semester in your final semester. So Angela, you want to tell them what the rule is because it's very specific.
So to my knowledge, and of course I always say talk to ISSO, but to my knowledge, when it comes to your final semester, you have to have at least 1 credit, or for most JSOM students, 1 class that is face-to-face.
The
entire semester, full semester, 16 weeks, or for the summer, 11 weeks, whichever semester is your final semester. If you're taking an additional course in your final semester, it could be online, but you still have to have one semester of a full online class for the full semester. So you're taking MIS
In person.
6349 in person. That is 16 weeks. It's a regular class. That will be enough to keep you in status. Your other class can be online, but you have to stay in that class. So if you change and you drop MIS 6349 and decide to do internship and you enroll in it and it's only a second half of the semester and you're in an online class, you are now out of status. And ISSO will contact you and you will get a scary email and then we will have to somehow fix it or you go home. So stay in MIS 6349 and you're good as long as you stay in that class.
Yeah, can we talk just a moment about what happens to 20, 30, or 40 students each semester, Angela? These students who are international who under-enroll. So would you please address that? Because we just have way too many international students who don't understand the requirements for enrollment. And then we're having to find ways to get you into classes and you've missed 3 weeks of classes. So Angela, would you talk about that for just a second?
Yes. So every semester we have students who have not talked to ISSO about their requirements, or sometimes listen to their friends or previous UTD students who are under older catalogs and older rules from the US that they then think I can follow whatever that person is doing, not knowing what that person's situation is. And then they are under enrolled because as a continuing student, you do have to have 9 credit hours. And then the majority of those 6 need to be face-to-face. Some people will not do that. They will take the minority of their classes face-to-face. And we then have to work very hard at helping them to get back into academic status. It usually happens after the last day of enrollment, which then means there are appeals that we have to submit to the university, not just JSOM. An advisor can't just enroll you. At that point, we have to get permissions from numerous levels in the university to allow you to enroll. There are times where we can't even do it as JSOM, and the Office of the Registrar has to do it. That means that you're in a little bit of trouble because ISSO has then contacted you and said you have a hard deadline to fix this. We have had a few students who did not fix it and they do have to go home. Some of them had just arrived to the country because they were out for a semester or they were out for summer and they come back in fall and now it's time to go again. So it is very important that you, if you're an international student, you have to know your own requirements. You cannot depend on JSOM advising or JSOM as a whole to know your requirements. It's a legal thing, so you do need to talk to ISSO as much as you possibly can just to make sure that you're okay. And usually just means making sure that you're taking more face-to-face classes than online classes, especially in your last semester, because that one gets people all the time. But every semester, follow your requirements, please. For everyone, for you especially. We don't want you to go home, not until you graduate and you're ready to go home. That's what I got.
Thank you, Angela. Dean Powell, those are all the questions that we have for today.
Well, I want to thank everybody who's come to be with us today. And I just want to circle back to the philosophical comments at the beginning of this conversation today and chat with the grad dean. You know, you don't get back those remarkable early decades of your career, and they go by so fast, you guys. And I think that the thing that you don't want to do as somebody who's going to graduate school to accelerate the trajectory of your career, you don't want to miss those opportunities. So I encourage all of you to appreciate where you are, be grateful for the resources that you have in front of you, the advice, the opportunity, the courses, the mentoring, and don't take your foot off of that accelerator for a moment. Because you want to get deep in your career and realize that by being so assertive and by guiding yourself and by taking chances and by getting after the opportunities that present themselves, it's a combination of all of that stuff that will make you a really great leader, a really wonderful person to go work for, a really great mentor to students that are in our program. You'll want to be in a position to feel like you can give back. So make the most of the moments. You can't get them back. Can't hold on to time. Time slips right through your fingers. So I hope that you end your semester exactly as you hope you will, and that you will think about those days when you're feeling, oh my gosh, I can't do it anymore, and go after it anyway. Always tell yourself one more time, I can do this one more time. It will pay dividends forever. And so we wish you the best of luck as you go into the end of the semester and your finals. Mark, thank you so much for being here. Angela, Norma, thank you for running the ship. And if you have any questions, any concerns, you don't know where to go, you can always send an email to jendal@utdallas.edu. We will answer the question. We will connect you to the person that it can help you solve the problem. So have a great spring day. We hope that all of you will be out, no comments inside on the 8th for the eclipse. I'm not sure what the weather is looking like, but get your safety glasses and, oh, there you go, Angela, she's got her safety glasses. Go out there and enjoy that once in a life opportunity. I was in the 4th grade when it was last a total eclipse, and we didn't have safety glasses. We had to look at it in a little box that we created with a pinhole in it. So everybody get after it. Enjoy your week. And we hope to see you driving along beside us in the next few weeks. Take care. Have a great rest of the semester.